text is off. Camera up in a second.
This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by the National Rifle Association. From the CZ Studios.
They're never going to stop us here.
Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins right now from the CZ Studios. Yes, sirree. Yes, mammy. Whatever you want to call it. We're sitting here at the Marshall stack. Tubes are heating up for after the show. The on-air light is here facing the road. It's fired up. And the Patriot mobile microphone is lit up for you. Of course, it's all brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Greg in Dallas, Texas. How you doing, my brother from another mother?
Not too bad, man. I can smell the weekend.
It is the weekend as far as I'm concerned. It's Thursday. As you get closer and closer to the holidays, you just make Thursday the start of the weekend, Greg. You can get there mentally, right? Can you do that yet?
I got 8 more hours tomorrow, so no.
I know, but still, you can do it. You can do it. I have faith in you. Okay, well, I'm trying to steer you down the right path here, man. I'm trying to make you feel good, okay? Sometimes that's hard to do. Greg can get ornery sometimes, He's like my dad. Yeah, he's like me. He's like my daughter.
I feel 85 sometimes, so it's there.
86, pushing 87. Yeah. Had him at the dermatologist today. Get some skin thing taken care of. He got a all clear on that, but 86 years old and going like crazy. You pick up phone, talk to him, think you were talking to a 35-year-old. He and I just sat there in the waiting room talking about Trump destroying liberals and didn't care who was sitting around us, because we're not here to please them. They're here to please us, right? That's the way
we are in Georgia, after all.
We are in Georgia. That's right. Get used to it. Warnock and Ossoff. Ossoff's about ready to take a walk, too, I think. All right, Greg, so we're live up on Rumble. Yeah, that's hope, wishful thinking there, and I feel pretty good about that one, though. We are live on Rumble today. We are live on Facebook, and I'll let you take it away, facebook.com/Armed American Radio. Those that like to watch on Rumble, we are up streaming over there as well. Greg, take it away, and then we'll go to part 2 of David Codrea, because we didn't get to everything yesterday, so David's going to join us for the top half of the hour, and Danielle Buck from Patriot will be here for the second half of the hour. Take it away, brother.
Sure, yeah. Other places to watch the show are going to be YouTube and Rumble. Just search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. Over on X, we're at AAR Mark. You can head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com, hit that menu icon, then select your watch live or listen live option. And lastly, to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Boom, that'll do it. David Codrea up there by the Great Lakes. So I'm going to assume the weather's pretty similar to what it was yesterday. Hopefully you got a big stogie going. How you doing, David? Welcome back for part 2.
It actually got cold enough to have some decent snow out there, so I'm sitting here next to the space heater. And you know what? This show, I don't know if it's coincidence, or I don't know if we're in tune, or what the heck else is going on, but you talk about, first of all, a dermatologist, and then you talk about how Greg can get ornery. And when I call in to let him know I'm back for part 2, I go, I'm like a bad penny. I always turn up. And he goes, yeah, you're like a wart that
won't go away. Maybe he's telling you need a dermatologist, because I was just telling him about that's where I was with my dad today for a little while. Oh, golly, that's funny. But I don't feel that way about you, David. The fun part is you and I talked yesterday. Yesterday's show was really fun, by the way. And there's just never enough time. And as you and I were mentioning, it just, you said, you're right, you buckle in and it's gone. We didn't get to a story that we really wanted to talk about yesterday, so we bring you back today to do that. I could keep you on all week, to be honest with you. There's so much we could cover with you. But one of them, and Cam Edwards wrote about this at bearingarms.com, and you and I glanced at this yesterday and just didn't quite get there. But I'm going to read the headline. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to pay very careful attention to this if you travel at all. I've lost count, Greg, how many times we've covered this, flying with a firearm and so forth. But there's a couple little nuances in here that we want to talk about. The headline from Bearing Arms from Cam, which was yesterday's story: Oklahoma woman stuck in Bahamian prison after forgetting gun in her purse. But what's interesting is, hear that again, stuck in Bahamian prison after forgetting gun in her purse. David, she made it through to the Bahamas with a gun in her purse. Let's go here.
Yeah, first of all, yesterday, just to reemphasize something we've talked about before, everything we talked about yesterday, we have never talked about before on the phone. In many cases, I was just vaguely familiar with the story and hadn't really read much about it, but the conversation goes from there. And this was one that you mentioned to me yesterday briefly in a text that you wanted to cover it, and I looked at it and I said, you know what, I got a million different ways that I can go with this and segue into this. And yeah, you're absolutely right. She, you know, in order to get on a cruise ship, your luggage goes through x-ray, the passengers go through scans, and not just at the initial thing. If you get off on any port and come back in, you got to scan to get back on the ship again. So how this got missed and all that is anybody's guess. And now she's stuck in this personal hellhole of a prison, which I guess, you know, the article went on to say how bad the conditions were. But here's what this made me think about, Mark, and why I wanted to explore this story more. Not so much for this story here, as horrible as it is, but my question now is, now that she has what amounts to a felony there, when she comes here, will she be a prohibited person here? And this goes into a lot of different directions, because if you'll remember back in 2002, there was the case of US v. Bean, or Bean v. US, I forget who was suing who. But the bottom line is this guy went across the border to Mexico, you know, after having, or to go get dinner or whatever, and he forgot that he had some ammunition in the back of his truck. Not a lot, just, you know, a little bit of ammunition. And the Mexican authorities found it, and they arrested him, and they convicted him. And then when he gets back here, he's finding out that he's a prohibited person, because this is like a felony type charge. And there's this what is it called, dual criminality on crimes that happen overseas and crimes that happen over here. But the bottom line is his case went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court couldn't give him the relief he needed, even though the lower court had given him that. On appeal, they said that the lower court didn't have authority to do it, and the Supreme Court, again, had to agree with him. And this is, you'll remember yesterday I said, you know, sometimes I disagree with Clarence Thomas even when he's legally right. This was one where Clarence Thomas weighed in, and all the justices, it was unanimous, and they said that the lower court does not have the statutory authority, that ATF has to be the one to go ahead and you know, give back the so-called privileges that it can't do because of the budget appropriation that, you know, the Schubert screw up that said that you can't have funding to go ahead and restore rights. And so based on that, you know, the guy was essentially screwed. He couldn't get his gun rights back in this country, and it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. Yeah. And this is the kind of thing that, if you'll recall, I have a lawsuit out right now against the Justice Department. And this went back to a FOIA, a Freedom of Information Act request that we filed back in April with the Justice Department after they announced that Mel Gibson and 9 other people were having their rights restored. And we wrote them and said, you know, we'd like to know what criteria that you use. What did they put on their application? What did you look at? How do you make these decisions? Because what, you know, this is of interest to gun owners. What do we have to do if we get into that bind? Is there a standard that we have to conform with? What is that standard going to be? They didn't respond, and because they didn't respond and they ignored us, we filed a complaint. That thing got held up because of the government shutdown, which gave them, you know, opened up a whole new window. We're going to be getting back into revisiting that, you know, pretty soon. But this is the whole thing that we're looking at here. Is this lady now could be a prohibited person here, and if that's the case, what is she going to have to do to get her rights restored? And I'll let you jump in right now because I'm just talking, but
no.
I got more to go on this, okay?
Well, there's a lot, but I think the first thing to keep in mind, this brings up restoration of rights, which is now a big topic here in the United States, of course. Bondi and Trump's DOJ are looking into that. There's been a lot of movement there, and it begs a lot of different questions as to what felony degrees are we talking about here. You know, we always use the example of a white-collar crime. If you are caught stealing money from an employer, should you lose your rights X amount?
30.
Versus, and we'll take this to the break right now, and then when we come back, we'll go back into this, because I do want to start with some advice for you, ladies and gentlemen, because all of this is avoidable, number one, and that's the most important thing, is all of this is 100,000 gazillion% avoidable, as I like to say. And it really, truly is. Hopefully, we never have to have this conversation with you, and I don't want you to have this conversation with anybody, because it is 100% avoidable. But to what degree, I guess it's going to depend on what arrangements we have with those countries. And honestly, if I'm, look, I just want to get home. I don't care if I'm convicted of a felony in Zimbabwe, dude. I just want to get home to Georgia. You know what I'm saying? That's where I want to be. Now, this woman, Mary Robinson, is almost 70 years old, and she's locked up, and I'll tell you why because the judge offered her an opportunity to leave. We'll explain it when we come back with David. Don't go away.
following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom here in the CZ studios. All of it brought to you by the NRA. Patriot Mobile's the real deal. Did you get your phone yet? Do it. Danielle Buck, we love Danielle. Danielle will be here from Patriot Mobile at the bottom of the hour for the remainder of the show. And I'm going to warn you right now, we gauge how fast the show is going to fly by, ladies and gentlemen, by how quick the brakes move. And this break just whipped right by. So buckle down. Let's go right back to David Codrea. David, with the limited time that we have left, I was going to, this is 100% avoidable to begin with. And let me make this very, very clear. Now, Greg, maybe because Greg asked the question too, I'm wondering if listeners had the same question. She was not at an airport. She did not fly. And, David, you pointed this out. I want to make this clear to everybody. She was on the Liberty of the Seas cruise ship. Now, David, have you ever been on a cruise?
Yes, I have.
Okay. The security at the cruises coming and going can be harsher than TSA airports because you also have customs to deal with as well, okay, particularly coming back to the United States. So there's an extra level there. But, ladies and gentlemen, this woman would not be having this problem if she had, quote-unquote, not forgotten her gun in her purse. Don't do that. I mean, that's right there. Don't forget your gun in your purse. Remember that you carry a gun. And David, I get it. It's easy for people who carry a gun every single day to maybe forget that the gun is in the purse because it becomes a part of, the old Clint Smith deal, right? Pants on, gun on. When you wake up in the morning, your gun's always with you, and it is with me. But, guys, when you're traveling, my gosh, David, please, I have to throw that out there. But she's 69 years old. She's now rotting. And here's the thing. The Bahamians offered her an $8,000 fine to go free. She couldn't pay it. So she was given a default 2-year jail term. 70 years old. 69, 70 years old. And this is one of the worst prisons. I watched the Netflix show on some of the most notorious prisons in the world, and this is one of them. She also has, quote unquote, a touch of dementia. This is not a good situation, ladies and gentlemen, and it is 100,000% avoidable, David.
Yeah, no, I continually slap my forehead when I read about people that are busted at TSA because they have a firearm in their carry-on luggage, and I just don't see how that's possible. I understand that, we can make excuses for it and say, well, they do it every day and all that. You know what? I know when I'm armed. It's just that simple, and this was 100% avoidable. I found it kind of humorous that the name of the ship is the Liberty at Sea, and I immediately just thought of that. What was it, Captain Phillips, or what was it, where the hijacker goes, "Look at me, I'm the captain now." Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Liberty at Sea just seems kind of ridiculous. But anyway, here's what else this got me thinking about with dealing with foreign laws and things like that. I also did an AmmoLand report on this Brit that took a photo of himself with a shotgun while he was in Florida and that got arrested when he came back to the UK. And that got me remembering about the Metropolitan Police Commissioner from London, who said that, you know what, you can do it, but we're going to get you, including not just Europeans, but Americans. He said, we'll throw the full force of the law at people, and whether you're in this country committing crimes on the street or committing crimes from further afield online, we will come after you. And so now if we do things that we're used to in America, she was doing something Second Amendment related. If we're doing something First Amendment related, do we not dare travel to foreign countries now? Because what we say and do here could then be held against us because it violates their laws there. It's a lot to unpack and a lot to think about.
Disregard.
And to be thankful that we still do have the freedoms that we have here, although many Democrats are working very hard to change that.
They absolutely are. Greg, you mentioned something in my ear here. What was that you said?
I just said we just disregard these foreign country laws. When you come back, if you get convicted over there, oh well, you're in a different country, and it's perfectly lawful here. So,
yeah, if I guess that is a difference, David. If you're doing something over there that's illegal there and not here, is the country going to recognize that? I had really never taken a deep dive into that. You mentioned it a little while ago. I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, they're going after Elon Musk in the European Union right now for him not moderating and controlling things because it gets over there. I just got on my War on Guns blog. Should I be going ahead and doing special checks to make sure that it's not going to run afoul of European law because the internet goes everywhere? And just forget that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to worry about it. Now, I'm not going to be going to England anytime soon.
Yeah, well, I don't think Elon Musk really gives a crap, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Netanyahu worried about Mamdani having him arrested when he comes to New York. I don't believe that's really a concern, even though they threaten that. But here's the deal. Ladies and gentlemen, your name is not Musk. It's not Netanyahu, okay? In this particular case, this woman's name certainly is not either. She's just an Oklahoma woman by the name of Mary Robinson. So she has a lot more to worry about than Musk or Netanyahu and threats, doesn't she? As just an average Joel Blow, right?
And I'm just hoping that when she comes back, and I think that they'll make arrangements to get her back. At some point the State Department's got to be involved, and they've got to rescue this poor lady. But I do hope that, in fact, when she comes back, they don't find out that this becomes a problem, as it did with Mr. Bean when he went down to Mexico with some ammunition in the back of his truck that he was unaware of. Again, a situation like this lady where he wasn't aware and got caught up by the authorities with it, and it came back to really bite him in a really terrible way.
Yeah, now, I do want to point out, too, because you're right, this woman will come home. She's not going to sit there for 2 years. But imagine what she's going through right now, okay?
Sure.
It's hell on earth. And there's a GoFundMe now, and I know it's been fully funded. Cam Edwards at Bearing Arms is reporting that it's fully funded. So maybe they'll take the $8,000 after the fact and let her go. I don't know. I would certainly hope so, and I believe that will happen. I believe that will happen. But again,
anyway, I'd like to switch gears real quickly because I know we're running out of time.
Go for it.
To reiterate that there are no coincidences with what I talked about earlier and what Greg said and all that. Many years ago, when I was in a different career, I was plant manager for a pharmaceutical company, and I did a national product launch for a wart medication.
Hey, Greg, maybe you want to cue the alien music for this one because it's kind of creepy that even came up. David, we've only got 30 seconds left, so I want to thank you for jumping back in here today and covering the story with us. I could keep you for, there it is. Okay.
Just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence. I could keep you forever. I don't think there's no such thing as coincidences. I agree. David, where can people find you real quick before you have to go?
WarrenGuns.com. It's the clearinghouse for everything that comes from firearms news and from Ammo Land.
Oh, thank you so much, David, for everything that you do. Thanks for coming back. We'll bring you on here real soon. Ladies and gentlemen, if you know the show at all, you know David is OG. We called him this yesterday. It just kind of came out. He's OGDC, and he has been here on this program really since not long after its inception. He's been here at least 15 years, if not longer, contributing to this broadcast. When we come back, Danielle Buck, Patriot Mobile, will be here. We've got 3 or 4 stories to cover with her. Don't go away. We'll see you out on the flip side here coming up right after the break. Guys, as I mentioned, when we come back, Danielle Buck from Patriot Mobile will be here. We're going to try to cover as much ground as we can with her, but I can promise you it's going to move right along. Some of what we're going to be talking about with Danielle will be Bondi's recent comments about the Second Amendment not being a second-class right. That's something that Patriot understands at their very core. And I want to start with her on a federal agency confirming big banks discriminating against firearms industry. I have personal experience with that, so we'll go there because Patriot Mobile doesn't discriminate against you as a firearms owner or the industry. In fact, they want your business. And we have a happy ending story out of Chicago where a concealed carry permit holder shot an alleged carjacker, that one coming from AWR Hawkins, who I spoke with at great length today. And there's a possibility I may be going out to see him this week coming up. Or he will be here at the ranch. So either way, we'll either be live where we are with him or he'll be live here at the ranch within the next few weeks. He's getting the itch to travel a little bit, so maybe we'll get him out here before Christmas, which would be a lot of fun.
Still waiting on Danielle.
All right, she should be in here any minute.
Yeah, less than a minute.
We have less than a minute?
Yep.
Okay, that's unusual for Danielle. Well, if we have to, we'll cover him until she calls in. Just keep your eyes on that line.
Yep. 30. Maybe send a reminder text.
Yeah, I just did. At 3:47 and just sent another one, so we'll see. It's possible she could be tied up. They are very busy, but
The following segment of Armed American Radio is proudly being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show.
welcome back to the show. Indeed, Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom here in the CZ studios today. And as I said before, we're ready. We're fired up over here. We got the big Marshall stack over here. The tubes are heating up. The on-air light is on. Right behind that Marshall stack, by the way. And boy, is it loud and ready to rumble. Whoo, she sounds good. So we'll upset the neighbors for a little while here coming up after the show. But that's okay. And let's see, what else? Oh, yeah, Armed American Radio. We'll tell you this every day, right? ArmedAmericanRadio.com. Now is a perfect time to be getting your Christmas shopping done at ArmedAmericanRadio.com. As I've been telling you, swap some Patriot mobile phones over for yourself, okay? Do yourself a solid over there. Danielle will be here just a second. When she's here, we'll let her tell you about all the great deals that they have over there and everything that they're doing to fight for your rights and freedoms as a corporation. We'll make some comparisons. Yeah, you can also shop at budsgunshop.com, budsgunshop.com. Pick you up a new holster over at Crossbreed Holsters. Pick up some of these great products from Patriot's Relief. Been using them like crazy over the last couple days, and the pain is now gone. These things work, ladies and gentlemen. They work for me. And mypillow.com. Make sure to check them out, because you can get tons and tons of stuff over there. And Greg in Dallas, real quick before we go to Danielle, I had somebody send me, another radio host today, send me information on apparently Mike Lindell is going to be running for governor.
I heard that.
I think that's being confirmed right now. We're waiting for confirmation on that, but it looks pretty solid that Lindell is going to run for governor in Minnesota, which is going to make for a really interesting race, I might add.
Yes.
We're going to want to keep our eyes on that one. So, guys, ArmedAmericanRadio.com. Make sure to check out all of our partners. Let's go to Danielle Buck. Danielle Buck from PatriotMobile.com. We love Danielle Buck on the show. Hi, Danielle. How are you?
I'm doing great, Mark. Glad to be here with you.
So, we do the weather thing, man. Where are you right now? Because it gets cold in a lot of places. Are you home in Texas? Is it nice and warm for you?
I actually am home in Dallas-Fort Worth today. We have our company Christmas party tonight. So staying low right now, headed out this weekend. We're doing a bunch of stuff with the wreaths across America. We have some on trucks out in Georgia. We have some in Tyler, Texas, Grapevine, Texas, that we donated a bunch of wreaths for. And then next week, a big group of us are actually headed out to Phoenix for AmFest. So it's busy, but at the moment I'm home.
Well, I'll tell you what, I may be seeing you there next
awesome.
week. I may be seeing you there. I'll keep you guys advised on that, obviously off air, but there's a possibility. I was talking about that today. My daughter, my niece, my son, and my nephew. And I think the last time you were on the program, this is going to be a huge event in Phoenix this year, a huge event after what happened with Charlie. There's no question about it. And if my home is any indication, Danielle, we're doubling our attendance this year with my son and my nephew now going with my daughter, and my niece. So we're doubling attendance, and I can promise you we're not the only ones. That is going to be a huge event. Can you tell us, while we're on that subject, what have you got going on with Turning Point? I love that you work with them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have kind of doubled down our efforts and our partnership with Turning Point. We've been working with them, golly, I think it's been 8 years now, Mark. And so it is obviously a presence at all of the events that they do, obviously, that bring in, the thousands of people. We have a bit of stage time. Actually, next Friday, Brittany Aldean will be joining me on stage to talk about Patriot Mobile and a number of other things. So there's some exciting things happening there. We obviously have a large booth where we're going to be doing people if they want to ask questions and actually sign up for Patriot Mobile if they're at the event. We'd love to have them come by. But, we also do stuff with all the chapters across the country. There's one right here in Southlake at Carroll High School that we have been sponsoring, like their pizza to bring in, because we know that it starts at the very bottom at the grassroots as well as the big fancy events. So we got to be part of all of it with TPUSA, and just are excited to see as they continue to grow and continue Charlie's legacy.
Oh, but I got to, you're in Dallas, and so I've got to go here with Greg. Greg, I got to bring you in here real quick, because the network where the show is coming from is in Dallas. I'm not physically in Dallas. I'm in Atlanta area. But, Greg, we need to bring Danielle into the studio sometime when she's home in Dallas to do this show.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. We could coordinate something.
Yeah, Danielle,
Great.
we'll talk
Happy
with
to
you
do
about
it.
that. It would be really fun to have you in there. Now, I have to ask you this because you mentioned pizza. Have you ever had Fratelli's Pizza in Dallas?
Oh, yeah.
It's great, isn't it, Danielle? It's the best.
Okay, all right.
My boys love pizza, so we eat a lot of pizza in the Buck household. Friday night, family night, we tend to do pizza and a movie. So I'm trying to create those family traditions young, because they're only 5 and 3. But I tell you what, the pizza is probably what brings them in.
Oh, man. Well, that studio, when you go in, I'm going to warn you now, there's a sign on the wall right there at the door, and next to it says, no food or drink in studio. No big deal, because when you go sit down, Greg's going to hand you some Fratelli's Pizza and all the sodas you want.
Oh, gosh.
And Fratelli's is good. Fratelli's is really good. If you ever make it to Dayton, Ohio, you got to compare it to Marion's Pizza. Those of you that live in Ohio know that stuff is the real deal. So good for you. All right, now back to the Turning Point briefly for a second, because you mentioned Brittany Aldean. You guys are sponsoring her husband's tour, Jason Aldean's tour.
Correct. Yeah, the entire full throttle tour. I believe we went to 53 stops this past year.
Wow.
Went all across the country. Obviously, Jason, he's been pretty outspoken about his beliefs ever since he released that song, Try That in a Small Town. And Brittany really has been outspoken about her conservative beliefs a little bit even before Jason. She created a clothing line that I don't think is actually running currently anymore, but it was just like, mamas don't want their babies to grow up to be liberals, which is pretty hilarious to me. And a number of other slogans and signs on T-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff. But yeah, no, we are so grateful for the partnership with the Aldeans and how bold they have really been, obviously in this last number of years about, standing for faith, family, and freedom. Obviously, the Aldeans do a lot this year for veterans, for first responders. We got to team up with them at an event, I guess it was late October, with an organization called the Sentinel Foundation that they support. It's actually really cool what they do. They are a bunch of former military guys, special ops mostly, who then kind of have used their skills now post-service to continue to help people, and they go in and they rescue vulnerable children around the world. Some are actually in sex trafficking, but some are just in like a horrific situation that need to be helped and actually escape, or they go in the middle of the night and grab, kind of those like ones that you see on the movies. But it was so cool to get to meet these guys and see how they plan their operations. And the Aldeans were part of it, and just getting to like visit with Jason and Brittany, because, caring for our children, getting veterans who have all these skills to do it through was just such a cool mirroring of things. And so, we're excited to continue our relationship with the Aldeans. We're planning on doing a lot more in 2026. We've been having a lot of meetings with them as well. So we're so excited for Brittany to be joining us at Amfest next week.
So you're actually going to be on the stage. Yeah, that's going to be a big
I
crowd.
know,
Is that going to
yeah.
be one of the biggest crowds you've ever been in front of? That's going to be a big one. Now, have you ever gotten on the stage at one of the concerts? That's
I
pretty
think
cool.
I have never done stage at one of the concerts. I guess, yeah, that probably will be the largest in-person event. But yeah, it's exciting. I mean,
Yeah,
it is
really
crazy
is.
to think, like, the Lord has just kind of given me a piece of, like, you're here to tell my story and to help promote, the things that I'm about. And so, to God be the glory through this time that we get together, and hopefully, Patriot Mobile will get some lines because of it, because we are trying to change the world one cell phone at a time. But that's the vehicle by which I'm up there. But I'm just grateful for the opportunity. I've just had the opportunity to get to know Brittany and Jason, and it was one of those. We asked her to do the speaking, and she was like, "I don't want to just go up there and give a speech." And I was like, "Well, how about we go up and just have a conversation?
Oh, that's
talk about
awesome.
being a mom, and talk about being a mom, talk about caring about your constitutional rights, talk about why have you been outspoken about your beliefs." So it really will just be kind of a conversation between the two of us, and then obviously them and why she works with our brand, because they could obviously work with a lot of different people, but they choose also to work with a company like ours, and they're on our service, and so, which is great. They travel and they have homes across this country, and so yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, I'm going to reach out. Just might as well talk about this on the live mics, okay? But I'm going to reach out. We've
There
got
we go.
30 seconds for the break. So let me say this. I'm going to reach out to Stephen and Josh and to you in the course of the next few days, because my kids will be out there again with my niece and nephew, and I'm going to hook them up with Breitbart and with you guys over there, and so I want them to meet you guys. So we'll make all those
great.
we'll make all those arrangements. So they're going to be in the crowd, and it'll be a lot of fun for them to see you guys over there. When we come back, I do want to talk a little bit about Patriot Mobile, what you guys have going on, and I've got to ask you. I don't want to point to any competition by name, but I do want to ask you if some of the other big three will be there. I think I already know the answer to that question. Guys, when we come back from the break, we're going to wrap up the hour with Danielle Buck. We love Danielle. Danielle Buck from Patriot Mobile. And we're also going to talk about a federal agency confirming discrimination against firearms industry. And I wonder if Patriot Mobile does that too. Probably get the idea. We'll be right back. Guys, back in 15 seconds. Music coming up. Flew right by. Good heavens. Never fails.
This segment is brought to you by Attorneys on Retainer. Get the only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back.
Yeah, guys, if you're watching the show on any of your devices, your TV sets, anywhere around the country, if you're listening on radio stations around the nation, I'll play Theater of the Mind with you, but as I do every day, I'm holding up my Attorneys on Retainer card. If you are not a member and you do not have an attorney on retainer and you carry a firearm, you are making a huge mistake. Do not make this mistake. Do not be without an attorney. God forbid you have to use a firearm to defend yourself. The first thing you're going to need is an attorney. It's that simple. And if you don't have one, it's going to cost you a lot more than the $35 a month that Attorneys on Retainer is going to cost you. In fact, all year, $35 a month times 12 is less than 1 hour's wage of a good attorney. Please don't find yourself in that position, ladies and gentlemen. It's so easy. Just go to attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. That will be live soon. If you can try it, but if it's not up, you can just use the promo code AAR until that site is up. Attorneysonretainer.us. Use the promo code AAR. The price will go up slightly come January, so lock in the $35 between now and the end of the month. You've got 2.5 weeks to do that. Please do that and put those attorneys in your hip pocket. Have this card, and you'll know what to say. I want to help you, but I want to talk to my attorney. Boom. They handle it from there. They'll be back on the show this week coming up. Please visit them and all of our other great sponsors over at armedamericanradio.com. Danielle, Buck, Patriot Mobile, welcome back to the CZ Studios with me. Always a pleasure to have you here. I find this interesting because Patriot Mobile goes to these places and you guys wear it on your sleeve, okay? And I love it. I don't know. I have looked. I cannot find another company that does that. And let's tie that in. And I will. Let me ask you this. I was going to ask you during the break. Are the other big three going to be there with booths?
I believe we are the only one at AmFest next year.
Yeah, and you see, I don't know why they don't get it, but whatever works great for you. And here you are, and this is going to be the biggest event they've ever had. So you are in the right place at the right time, and thank you for that. Thank you for that. That leads me to the next story here is, again, Cam Edwards at Bearing Arms is reporting that there's a federal agency confirming big banks discriminating against the firearms industry. I have personal experience with that years ago. When I created my company, I'm going back at least 15, 16 years ago, and I won't mention the Bank of America. I think I just did. When they asked me, are you involved in the firearms industry? They didn't want to do business with me if I was. I said, no, I'm a talk radio host. That's the name of my radio show. I don't sell firearms. But if I did, they didn't want to work with me. That was the implication. And trying to find a company that will openly work with you as big, and you guys are getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the minute, is a breath of fresh air. Have you ever had any other corporate people from outside the industry or anybody else at any other corporation, maybe not just cell phones, come to you and say, we want to be like you guys?
All the time, actually. Because quite frankly, Patriot Mobile was the leader in the business world of taking a product that everyone uses and saying, and this is what we stand for, and we're not ashamed of it. I mean, we've been doing this 13 years, Mark, and we've been unabashedly pro-First Amendment, pro-Second Amendment, pro-life, and pro-veteran and first responders from the very beginning, and not just that, a Christian company. And so, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been somewhere and spoke, or Glenn or Scott, our CEO, CMO, and people come up to us, I want to do what y'all are doing. And I'm like, it doesn't take much more than guts and being willing to take the shots, right? Like, people are going to come after you, but from my perspective, I think that means we're doing exactly what we're called to be doing if you're being attacked. Like, if Satan and the enemy does not want me doing what I'm doing, I'm going to be attacked. And so from my perspective, it is like we should be all doing this and being bold about what we stand for. I mean, we say a lot lately, we stand for faith, family, and freedom, but it is a lot more than faith, family, and freedom that we stand for. We're just trying to kind of condense it in a way that people can kind of wrap their heads around, and then also do it with something that, like, yes, every single business should be thinking about, what do I stand for? And do the people that join me, do they know of that, the fact that I stand for those things? Because I can tell you, this, Mark, the Second Amendment supporters, the Second Amendment advocates, the Second Amendment events, hands down, the most active people that are joining Patriot Mobile.
That's a fact.
Because
fact.
100% the other cell phone companies are wanting to take your gun rights away. So that, I mean, sets us apart times 1,000, right? Like, there is nobody else in the Second Amendment space from a cell phone perspective that's actually not just providing you an amazing phone service, because we have all three networks, right? You can bring your phone. You can bring your phone number. Like, we've literally come across and knocked down every single objection that most people bring to us, other than, can I have a brand new iPhone? We don't have that one, because quite frankly, not everything's free in this world. We can put you on a payment plan, of course, but I think it's just that feeling of, no, I want to stand with the company and give money to a company every month that aligns with my values and supports my Second Amendment right. And I just love when I meet people that really understand what's happening right now in the Second Amendment space, because they really are the most active people. And quite frankly, the businesses that are joining us, the individuals that are joining us, are mostly from that space.
And see, that's why I ask that, because the business, you guys handle businesses. It's not just personal lines. It's business as well.
No, exactly.
So, and you've got a lot of them that are joining
families,
you.
Businesses. No, we have tons of conservative business, and anywhere from 5 lines to 1,000 lines. Like, no business is too small and no business is too big for us to be able. And because we have all three networks, we can put certain people in different parts of the country on different networks. No one else can even offer that option. I mean, it's truly a better product because we have the 3 major networks.
And this is a question that I've never asked you this before, but it's a perfect time, because you mentioned faith, family, and freedom. And I'll throw gun rights in here too, because it's lumped in as we're talking about all 4. But when did those 4 things become a political issue? When is faith, freedom, and family a politically divisive issue? And throw your gun rights in, which are also your civil rights. These are American values. They're not political values. They're American values, and that's what you guys do. Support American values. Right. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I think American values have been under attack for a number of years. I think we've seen it in the forefront in the last 20 years. I think we saw it really subliminally maybe 30 years ago through like media, culture, television. But I think now, obviously, you think about what's happening from whether it's a legislative front, a judicial front. The assault on the family has been going on for a long time. And that is what they want. They want us to be sad, alone, and addicted to our phones in our apartment that we can barely afford, and needing the government for everything. And I think when we say, no, that's not what I want. I want to work hard, make a living, and go enjoy my family, go do things in the outdoors, go shoot my guns, go have fun with, my family members, play sports or whatever it is.
Get out and touch the grass.
That's where we break the mold. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes the best medicine is literally some fresh air and a walk, right? Like, sometimes we all just need to be like, go for a walk, calm down, spend some time just thinking and praying and getting off a device, because I think that almost just connects us back to ourselves and to the Lord.
You guys are actually doing God's work. It's so wonderful to see, and I'm jealous of what I know you're going to be doing in a week. Because I know what's going on. I know a lot of people, everybody from the sheriff of Maricopa County is excited. I've already spoken to Sheriff Jerry Sheridan out there. He promises a huge, safe, level 4 security event. It's going to be wonderful. And hopefully I can hook you up with my daughter and the rest of my family out there, and my son. Now, I have a photograph I'm going to be sending you outside the show here in just a few minutes that I think you'll enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, Danielle Buck, Patriot Mobile, the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. Join an organization that supports your values. This is how we win. This is how we take back our rights and our freedoms that the other side is trying to take from us. Danielle Buck, thank you. PatriotMobile.com. Use the promo code AAR. Enjoy your day, guys. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow. Thank you, Danielle. I'll be reaching out to you in just a minute.
You just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters, presented by the National Rifle Association. The National Rifle Association on the Armed American Radio Network.
All All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. The hour flew. The end of that segment caught me off guard as well. I apologize. There's nothing we can do about it. It just flies right by. So all I can tell you is be here tomorrow because we're going to get up and do it again. Paul Markle, the professor, the student of the gun, will be joining us. Sunday, we've got a big show lined up for you. We're going to be talking, hopefully, with Joey Hamby. We'll be wrapping that up tomorrow. Attorneys on retainer. We've got a self-defense case. Updates on this case out of Arizona is unbelievable. I've been sitting on this waiting to bring him back, but you will not believe the developments. If you heard us talk 2 weeks ago when he was on the program, what you hear coming up the next time he's on the show, hopefully it will be this Sunday, it'll bend your mind. And it's just what you're up against if you carry a firearm. The level of corruption that you're going to hear in a state like Arizona is really, truly mind-boggling, a very, very gun-friendly place. Corruption is everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get caught with your pants down. You don't want that to happen to you, I can promise you. And believe me, corruption is everywhere, particularly if you carry a firearm and you got somebody that doesn't like that, that's in a position to lock you up. They will try to do so. So thank you for being here today. We appreciate it very much. I apologize. The hour flies by so quickly. Enjoy your day, what's left of it, no matter what time you're listening to the program. I love each and every one of you. We will see each and every one of you on the radio again tomorrow as we kick off our weekend. Carry on, carry often, carry absolutely everywhere. Never, ever, ever leave your cave without your club. No self-respecting caveman would have ever left his cave without his club. Don't be that individual caveman that walks around disarmed, okay? Unarmed or disarmed. Take your pick. Enjoy your day. Stay safe, guys. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow. Thanks for being here.